Lindsey Halligan effed up the indictment of James Comey. I'm a lawyer in real life. I don't play one on television. So now we are into part 2 of the James Comey indictment and why it might be dismissed. And so we got to now focus on Lindsey Halligan. In part 1, I explained that she was the U.S. attorney who was installed after the interim U.S. attorney before her refused to bring an indictment. Now, if you think Lindsey Halligan is someone who has lots of experience, she's done this before, she knew what she was doing, you would be absolutely wrong. She was an insurance attorney. She did not have any experience with the U.S. Attorney's Office, no experience with criminal cases. She didn't know what she was doing. But she went by herself before the grand jurors to present the information, the evidence for an indictment of James Comey. From the moment the indictment was given to the judge, there was confusion, mass confusion. Now I'm going to get into why it was confusing in a moment, but this is what you need to know before we talk about that. There was a ticking time bomb. James Comey had originally given his testimony to the Senate on September 30th of 2020. The statute of limitations was about to expire. It was a 5-year statute of limitations, so the deadline for bringing charges against Comey based on this alleged false testimony was September 30th of 2025. So there was a very short period of time in which the Trump administration needed to act. So remember, Lindsey Halligan, she becomes the interim U.S. attorney around September 20th of 2025. So she basically has 10 days to get an indictment against James Comey. So Lindsey Halligan going before the grand jury by herself is pretty extraordinary because typically you have assistant U.S. attorneys who are doing this, not someone who has never handled criminal cases before, never worked in the U.S. Attorney's Office, but she did. So she presents 2 indictments to the judge, and the judge is instantly confused. The first indictment indicated that the grand jury failed to find probable cause as to any count. So they were presented with 3 counts, and that first indictment said, we don't find probable cause as to any of those counts. But then there was a second indictment. And then that second indictment, it said that the grand jury found probable cause as to 2 counts. Both were signed by the foreperson, the ones that said we don't find any probable cause, and the one that said we find probable cause on 2. So the judge has to question the jury foreperson as well as Lindsey Halligan, the prosecutor, to figure out what the hell is going on. Why do I have 2 contradictory documents? After listening to the foreperson and the prosecutor, the judge accepts the second indictment that has probable cause on 2 counts. So from the very beginning, there's confusion about what happened in the grand jury room. The seed is planted from the very first day that there may have been something inappropriate about how the prosecutor obtained the indictment. So we're going to stop here. We're going to go on to part 3 in the next video. We're going to get into what has now been discovered. Now, please share, like, follow, repost, so everyone can hear and understand this story, because it is going to get a lot worse. Let me know if you have any questions about what has happened. Let me know what your insights are regarding what has happened so far.